Thank you guys for coming out to Breaking In Through Backgrounds. We are hosting Peggy Shu, a background painter, and Yue, who is a prop designer and background designer. I'm going to let them take over and just kind of introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their work experiences.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, I can give the little intro, or yeah.
You have the intros, go.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome everyone to our May evening office hours. We're excited to introduce our two wonderful speakers for the evening. Like Vivian said, our first speaker is a background and prop designer with a variety of experience in TV animation, commercials, shorts, and games. Currently at A24, some of her previous clients include Titmouse and Studio Smokescreen. And our second speaker is a visual development artist, TV background designer, and illustrator living in the Bay Area. She's currently looking for new opportunities in backgrounds, 2D background design, color design, and visual development. Please give a warm welcome to Yue and Peggy. Yeah. So whoever wants to start to give like a brief introduction before we get to our questions.
Oh, I can start first. Yeah. Hi, I'm Peggy. So yeah, I'm originally from Taiwan, but I immigrated here when I was 16. So then I went to San Jose State University for their animation program. And after I graduated, I realized there's still a lot I have to learn. So I ended up taking a lot of classes from, like CBA, TGMA, Brainstorm School. And I eventually landed my first union job, the beginning of last year. So that's where I started. But before that, I was also working for a studio in Georgia. So yeah, and still working and still trying, still pretty new. But I hope my experience can help some people. So yeah, thank you guys.
Very cool. Hi everyone, my name is Yue, and I am, like Jeremiah said, I'm a background and prop designer. I graduated from California State University, Fullerton in 2021, and after graduation, I entered the animation industry as a prop designer for a show called Jelly Ben and Pogo for PBS Kids. The role was less design, and my responsibilities focused more on putting approved designs into Harmony to be rigged for animation. So while it was technically like an art job, it was also a great way for me to do something more technical while learning the pipeline. And from there, I went on to be a background designer at Titmouse, where I worked in special projects. I did backgrounds for a show on Netflix called Trivia Quest, along with a lot of episodes that were outsourced from bigger studios and some commercial work. And then while I was doing that, because as we all know, full-time jobs in animation are often few and far in between, so I did a bunch of work with indie studios and games as well. I have shipped a reading game with Tangible Play Osmo, and currently I'm at A24.
Yay, thank you. I just wanted to preface to everyone that if you have any questions for Yue and Peggy, feel free to put them in the meeting chat, and I could totally answer them for you if you don't feel comfortable saying it out loud, or you can just raise your hand. But yeah, if Vivian wants to get to the first question we have.
Yeah. They actually answered a little bit about the first question already, so I'm going to jump to the next question. I want to ask you and Peggy, what was the turning point for you when you realized that your passions lie in background work?
I think it was when I first graduated, I thought I would want to do character design because it's like what everybody was going for. But I just hate doing character and turn around. Yeah, and I always find myself more drawn to, like photo studies, which is like a lot of like backgrounds involved. And then I think after a while, I decided I should just like fully focus on doing backgrounds, because before that I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a journalist, like do props and do background, do character, I want to do everything. But then it really helps me to just nail down to do the one thing I love the most. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, that was kind of the same for me. I not the best at drawing characters. It was kind of like a process of elimination, right? To this day, I still don't really understand storyboarding. Just being really like, I know what it is, but do I know what it is really? And while I do like drawing, like figure drawing, I'm not the best at character design. And then it just comes down to what I enjoyed, which was in college, I really enjoyed drawing like things that required a lot of draftsmanship. So I kind of just fell into backgrounds as like something I knew that I could do.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Moving on to the next question. Could you two tell us a little bit about your process for like designing or painting backgrounds, whatever your expertise is?
Sorry. For work or like for personal project or like both?
I'll like cast this to the audience. Do you want to hear about personal work processes or like how it works more professionally?
Maybe kind of both. Like if you have things that you do personally but don't work in a professional setting, maybe like figuring that out. That'd be cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I
Thank
think
you.
as for me, a personal project allows me to, I can keep changing if I want. But I feel like for professional work, it's like you have to stay consistent and always make sure you update it with your directors. Yeah, like for professional setting, from the shows I've worked on before, I always get like storyboards from them or like script, and I always want to make sure I, finish the entire storyboard. Resume them. The script, the storyboard, and then I like to do a rough draft first before go ham into it, and then share this with my director to make sure everything's fine and starting it. Yeah. And as for my personal work, I like to sometimes I like to do with like those tiny sketches first, like the rough drawing that only I can understand, and then get a reference. But I think one thing that changed a lot for me is that now I will use Blender to help me, especially for like things that are like really complicated. I want to make sure everything looks accurate, so I will use Blender and then still put on like perspective guide in Photoshop to help me. And as for the painting part, oh my god, all the breath, sorry. But yeah, as for the painting part, I like to do a local color pass first, and then use the adjustment layers on top to create, like lighting and different like set of timing. Yeah, so it's for me. Yeah.
Cool. So for my personal work, since I'm someone who admittedly takes on maybe too many projects and I'm very busy, I like my personal work to have a lot of mileage. So if I come up with a concept that I'm really attached to, I'll try to think of a way to maybe incorporate that into a VisDev pack or have something that will fit both in my portfolio and in my personal breath, just so I can get the most use out of an image and the most bang for my buck for my time. So that is the first part of starting a personal piece for me, is to really spend time fleshing out the concept and just basically deciding whether or not it's a good use of my time. And then the second step for me is coming up with reference photos. Personally, I like to take my own reference photos, just because I'm paranoid of accidentally copying someone else. And also just because when you take your own personal reference photos, you can have more control of like perspective, lighting, stuff like that. And then I also like to take reference of, sometimes I'll take references of color and lighting, and like a style references that are separate from my original reference photo, just because I think it's very useful for me to study how other artists depict surfaces and textures and materials. And then from there, I, like Peggy, I do like a rough pass. If I know it's going to be a painting rather than like a design piece, sometimes I'll go straight into painting just to keep it a little looser. And then for my professional work, it's again, I spend a lot of time in the research phase, especially if the work requires like something really specific or of a specific era. I would like to make sure that what I'm drawing fits the story. Should we be answering the questions from the chat?
So I was gonna let you finish your questions, and then I can totally just like ask the next one for the next person.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'll also be linking I'll be linking their social medias as well as if you guys want to follow them. Free plug. But yeah, the question from the chat from Connor is, what do y'all use to keep track of your reference photos?
I just use my hard drive. Like I have a reference photo folder that's separated into smaller folders of different things. Like I'll have BG interior, BG exterior, BG exterior city, BG exterior forest. And so when I'm looking for something specific, I can pull it from my reference folder.
I think for me, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. I honestly just keep everything in one folder on my desktop. Yeah, and then because like I don't know, like and like but I also keep some in my phone. Yeah, so like I don't think I have like like I'm really bad at organizing stuff. So I just keep like I just like keep making folders, and I have some in my hard drive, I have some in my laptop, and some in my phones. Just depending on which one I found. Yeah. So,
I do a monthly purge of the reference photos.
Oh, I should do that too.
Like at the end of the month, everything gets uploaded to my hard drive.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I should do that too.
I like how you describe it as a monthly purge. We have a question. Stephanie, would you want to ask the question?
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, yeah, good.
This is a question for both Peggy and Yue. You mentioned classes after school, so I was wondering which classes or mentorships outside of school did you find the most beneficial to you and why to further your education? What did you gain that was missing before? Did something kind of push you forward the most out of all those different classes and mentorships?
That's a really good question. Orion thinking.
Okay.
I think it's go first.
So I was accepted into a mentorship circle with women in animation called Visual Development with Vicky Puri, and I think that really helped me to get a good sense of what the industry is like. That circle was less about the technical side of art and more about bringing in speakers so we can meet and network with people. And also Vicky's just very transparent about what it's like as an Asian woman working in entertainment. So her insight was very helpful for me. And as for classes, the only class I've taken since graduating is a cat's eyes color and lighting class. And that class is so good. Highly recommend taking it if you want to go into background paint.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, there's a couple actually, because when I first graduated, I have to say my skill wasn't in industry standards, so I do have to take a lot more classes to sharpen my craftsmanship. And I think the class they helped me the most was actually a visual development portfolio class from concept design academic. But I don't know if they still have this class now, but back then when I was in the class, I really learned like what the industry was looking for. It helps me to polish my portfolio and it helps me to know what I should paint, should draw, should design. Yeah, so that helped me a lot. And I also took I hope I didn't butcher his name, like Armin Serino's visual development mentorship class. Yeah, and he's really good. He's amazing. Yeah, and then what he helped me the most is like how to sharpen my drawing skills. He basically forced me to do like super detailed layout, and told me like what composition is like most appealing. That type of stuff. So yeah, I think those two classes helped me a lot. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the questions, guys. These are really great.
Yeah.
If you have any more, please continue to put them into the chat. And then, Marcy, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, sure, I can ask. This is for both of you, obviously. But I'm a student right now, so I just was wondering, what was your guys' experience transitioning into the industry, out of college or where you pursued education, and if there were any struggles, either balancing the two or just transitioning, and then when did you feel ready or you wanted to start applying professionally?
You want to go first, Peggy?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, so my experience, I feel like is very different from other people's experience that I've heard about. I applied online so throughout my last semester in college, I was applying to stuff constantly. And actually, the Monday after I graduated, I got an interview. So this is completely
wow,
super unusual.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
But it does show that they do look at the online portfolios. Your application isn't just going into the void. If you're a good fit for the production, you have a chance.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people say co-apply doesn't work, but you should always apply. It's free to apply, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even the students do it. Yeah, it's not like back 20 years ago we had to ship our portfolio to different studios. Yeah. As for me, the transition was very harsh for me because as I said earlier, when I first graduated from San Jose State, my portfolio wasn't in the industry label, so it took me 6 months to really be honest with myself, to know that I know you need a better portfolio. So, but before that, luckily I got a video production jobs, so I still have some earning, it wasn't like I'm unemployed. Yeah, so I used those money to take new classes. Yeah, because I basically took on my entire college portfolio because it's not gonna help me. Yeah, so I spent another year trying really hard, learning, taking new classes, rebuild my portfolio, and I also co-apply to Raptor Studios. And it was funny because when I first applied it, I totally forgot it, and then when they contacted me, I saw it was a scam. I was like, oh my god, I need to make sure things is legit. So I just keep checking and making sure the studio actually exists and everything. Yeah, so I co-apply, and I got a job. Yeah, so this, basically how it started, I think.
Thank you so much. I've always got kind of a stigma for myself around cold applications because I don't know, it's just a lot of nerves, I guess, but it's good to know that they really give it a chance. Either way.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I would like to say, I also send out a lot of emails to just studios. How some of the studios, especially indie studios or smaller studios, they have those inquiry emails. They actually look into those emails, but it may take a long time because sometimes I remember I sent out a bunch of email, and then 3 years later, some studios oh, we just saw your email. Was it from 3 years ago? Oh my god! Yeah, so they actually look through those emails, so it's good to also send email. Yeah, just don't spam them. Maybe send them every 6 months or something, or whenever you update your portfolio.
Yeah, and also I think the first year out of college, especially for me, was especially anxiety ridden because after my contract would end, I would be like, oh, that was a one-time thing. No one will ever hire me ever again until the next job. And then when that job is over, I fall into the same cycle of, it was just a fluke. No one's going to hire me ever again.
Yeah.
So I guess a good thing to keep in mind while transitioning into the industry is that, you are an artist. You have the degree. You make art. You don't need to be at a big studio in order to work in animation.
Yeah,
right. You're already an animation artist, and it's just a matter of luck and time.
Exactly. Totally agree.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the good questions.
Nice answers. I know. Moving on to the next question. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. or if you find like a space in between questions, you can also just say them out if you're comfortable with that. But the next question I have on my list is, who are some of your biggest inspirations?
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I really like this artist. I can't butcher his name. His name is Tadahiro Sueji. Uesugi is his last name. He's like a production designer and also illustrator from Japan. And then I remember he works in like Coraline and then Big Hero 6. I love his work. It's amazing. And also love Tyrus Wong. He was like the first Asian American to work in a Disney film. I'm not like super sure about it, but yeah, he was in Bambi. And also I love Celine King. She's my role model. I want to be like her when I grow up. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cat's Eye. I took her class. But I'm really gravitated towards artists who have just a great sense of story. So I also really like the work of Amy Thompson, Lesbian Nights, iconic. And also Anki, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anki? Yeah, let me type that out.
Do you have her Instagram or like? I don't know.
I can type it out in my notes and then share it.
Yeah, I'm gonna type out the name too. So
yeah, I was like trying to like find all of them. I was like, okay, let me figure out all these.
Thanks, Josh. You're faster than me.
Josh is on it.
yes. Oh, thank you, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, are there any more that you two wanted to add?
Oh, I really love Chris Sasaki. I think he was in Pixar. I'm not sure if he's still there. And like he was also in like Tunko House. Oh, and I love all the stuff on Tunko House. Like Dai Susumi and Robert. Like they're amazing, very inspiring too. Oh yeah.
Agree. I would die for anything Taco House.
Right.
All of these are all like great artists. Same. Next question. What advice would you two give to students who are interested in doing backgrounds but like not sure how to pursue it professionally?
Let me see. I think from me, just make sure you have a solid knowledge of perspective. Just keep practicing, because I do know like when you first start drawing background, it's very overwhelming. So maybe you can, start small. For example, you draw a corner of a room, and once you finish that, maybe the next step is like you expand it, and make it, just add on more details, and don't you can do it by baby step. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna finish this like amazing set in like one day or anything. Just take your time, and really take the time to study and learn perspective, and also use 3D software helps a lot too. It just give you more confidence. But before using the those softwares, learn the perspective. Yeah, that's it. Learn perspective. Probably should do it.
Yeah, my advice would be to collect portfolios. Yeah, find artists that you like and really study their portfolio. Try to figure out what you like about their art and why, and also what kind of art they have in your portfolio. So if they have 3 black and white drawings, one that shows really good perspective, one that shows really good storytelling, do that in a portfolio. And also study maybe how it's laid out. If they have everything on a gallery or scrolling, figure out what you like from their website and just copy that. And then I guess my other piece of advice would be to keep track of the things you apply to. Just make a simple Excel sheet of the places you've applied to, the date you applied to them, the date you hear back, if so, just so you have a reference for how long a certain studio gets back to you. So the next time you apply, you're not just anxiously waiting. And if they are able to give you feedback, write down what feedback those studios have for you.
Oh, and the other thing I want to add on is like, cause like for right now, I think mostly I've only seen TVs doing background, like mostly, not always. So what you can do is like observe like the TV shows you like, take screenshots, and then when you're doing this background, always make sure like you save a spot for characters, cause like just remember our job is to use our background to support the characters that are like, acting and stuff. So I think that's really important. Yeah.
Yeah. Caitlin, I see your comment. Between the years of 2020 and 2022, I applied to over 150 opportunities.
Wait, what's the question?
I was just saying how she applied to 100 things. Yeah. No, sometimes it's a numbers game, and it doesn't hurt to cold apply. So
I think I hit like 300 at this point, 350 something. Because I've been graduate for like 4 years now. Yeah, 300-ish. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have like,
For reference, out of those 150 plus, I got 17 responses back. And out of those 17 responses, I accepted 7 opportunities. So, and within the span of 2 years. So, yeah, it definitely hurts to see that number go up, but sometimes it's a numbers game.
Yeah, and I think for me it was like, I got a lot of rejections, but I mean, as we go on, you will always get rejection. Just remember that. But sometimes you only take one shot to, get into the job you want. So it's okay.
Thank you so much for answering those. Those are amazing answers as always. We actually have 2 questions, which is great. So we have one from Amira. Do you think someone could get into the animation industry without a degree in art?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, you go first.
I was just going to say one of the very talented people in my career mentorship actually was a finance analyst for many, many years before jumping into animation. And I think one of her first jobs was at Disney. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah. I do want to say though, if you are international students, apparently you still need an art degree to apply for animation jobs. But I've seen a lot of people in the state, even though they don't have art degree, they still pursue in an animation career. So definitely doable.
Nice.
So there's another question from Josh.
Yeah, we have a question from Josh. What are your favorite movies, live action or animated, that really inspire you?
This is hard.
Peggy, this is stressing you out. I'm so sorry.
I'm like, I have too many good movies.
The most stressful questions are the personal ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. My favorite
No, it's all good. I love these questions. Just really hard to answer. Like,
neither of these are movies, but I'm really inspired by the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm a big fan of the silk punk genre, and I think more studios should invest in shows like that.
Yes.
And then my other answer to this is Arcane, just for the visuals. I can't paint like that at all, but maybe in like 5 years, I would love to work on something like that.
I totally see you in there. It'd be really cool. As for me, I feel like for me, the first movie is actually Up from Pixar, because that's the first time I realized how visually pleasing and beautiful a CG movies could be. Yeah, so that's one. And I also love Prince of Egypt. That one just like, And yeah, and I think the other one is like actually Cyberpunk Edge Runner. I don't know, like I love everything in the show. I love the anime styles. Yeah, I find myself really into like the anime styles lately, because I just feel like it really, like suits with my background as a person. And yeah, I just like I would love to work on an anime style shows one day. So yeah. And Arcane is amazing too, so I love that one.
I need to finish it. That is like my friends want to murder me every time I say I have not finished it. But I've watched I think I binged the same time I was watching Arcane, I paused and I binged like 535 episodes of like One Piece, and they're like, "Why would you not finish Arcane?"
That's me. Arcane's like 8 episodes.
I know that's what I don't understand it.
Finish it and get your
It's
heart.
okay, Jeremiah.
broken.
I'm also chronically late to watching things.
Yeah, me too.
I'm watching WandaVision right now. I'm like 2 years late on that.
That's cool. I mean, like, yeah, like sometimes like when people throw things in your face, like you kind of don't want to watch it. Same thing with like Game of Thrones, like in Attack on Titan.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Oh man,
Sad.
I don't want to. Like, thinking about that makes me sad. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
no, yeah.
Alice has a two-parter. Alice asks, "How do you recommend formatting your portfolio if you are applying for jobs in games as well as animation?" I'll let this question go first, so that way it's not like it's not going to be overwhelming.
Yeah, I think my tip would be to maybe include some packs. So if you have a prop per se, show different variations of the prop and in different colors, and because assets in games are often reused in different settings. And also just study the types of games you want to work in, and cater your portfolio to that. I don't know how much advice I have for this because I only have one game under my belt, but what I did for Osmo and Reading Adventure, the game I worked on, was actually their game was very storybook-like. Think like Cartoon Saloon, like very, very immersive but 2D world. So my art style, my portfolio at the time, just happened to fit what they were looking for.
Yeah, I think my advice are very similar to what Yue has, and I think if for example if you are putting a prop in, show like the audience how you use this prop. Almost think sometimes I feel like you almost have to think of it like a IKEA handbook, like how it works and stuff like that, and then include a call-out sheet and material, and then I think one thing that helps me a lot is to think it through like the production pipeline. For example, when I was in Nickelodeon, I worked on the Rugrats, so it was a CG show, and so it was pretty hard. But anyway, I had to make sure I have everything. Like for example, I designed a set. I need to make sure all the turnaround is accurate, and I also have to make sure I include like the materials and stuff. So the painter and then the modeler, they understand what the hell this thing is. So do that when you are like designing a set, designing a prop, includes call-out sheets, material stuff, turnaround. So when the producer or recruiter, they see the stuff in your portfolio, they know that you understand how the pipeline works. Yeah, because when you start working, they just gonna throw you in. Like a lot of time, like you don't get any training, so just need to be ready. And then I think these things, will help you too. Yeah.
And then something else I just thought of is if you're designing like a location per se, like a background, you need to keep in mind of where the UI is going to sit.
Yes.
Because the one thing that differentiates games from television is that it's interactive. So usually there's like buttons and stuff. So that was something that I had to keep in mind a lot for Trivia Quest, because it's a game show, so there are interactive buttons on the bottom of the screen. So everything I designed had to be above that.
Yeah, good catch. Yes.
Thank you so much for answering.
I think Caitlin had a follow-up question. Was it Caitlin?
Oh, it was Alice.
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
You're okay. Was it any tips for getting through the slump between gigs?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Tips for getting through the slump between gigs.
Oh, this is hard.
Well, first, take a break. Take the weekend off. And I think a good way to supplement both income and also gaps in your resume between big studio jobs is to apply for indie projects. Usually they don't pay as well, but it's good experience and it gives you the chance to work on projects you normally wouldn't get the chance to work on. And also wear different hats. You know, at indie studios, usually you're doing more than just one role, or you get the chance to step into another role, which is just like good experience. What else? Yeah, I think that's my advice first.
I feel
So take a break and then apply for indies.
Yeah, because like currently I exactly in this situation right now. I finished my project with Bento Box back in like the end of like February. So I was so burnt out, so I took a month of break, and then I traveled a little bit, and then when I came back, I actually feel even more burnt out because I'm like stressed and I'm like, oh my god, it's no job, yeah, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think you take advantage of this time to improve your portfolio. Take classes if you can. And when I got off on like the Bento Box, they basically helped me to apply for like EDD, like unemployment, like some kind of fee. So they support me a little bit too. And then currently I've been interviewing for like like what you say, like interviewing a few indie studios. So I'm still waiting for the result right now. Yeah, so work on yourself, take a break, travel if you can, spend time with your family. And I know like some people, they may still need some kind of like financial support, right? So sometimes you may still have to do jobs that's not art related, but just know that that's okay. It's life. So we don't always get what we want, but eventually if you just stick with it, I feel like you will get where you want. So, yeah, that's my advice. Yeah.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now it's Caitlin's question. When you were both working on your portfolios after college, how did you manage your time or plan your goals / tasks? And then Peggy, you said you worked oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke. At a video production job while working on a portfolio. How did you juggle the workload with your personal projects?
Yeah, so thankfully, that job was more like almost like a part-time job, because I kind of count as like freelance or contractor there. So I only need to work like 3 or 4 days a week. So while that, I'll just work on my portfolio, and I basically had like zero social life for like a year and a half, but which ended up working because it was like the beginning of COVID, so everybody's like stuck home, because I graduated in 2019. Yeah, and then the beginning of 2020 is like when all the things happened. Yeah, so we all had to stay home. So they actually helped me, because I can only stay home, so I just need to work on my portfolio. Yeah.
Yeah, similar to me, I graduated during the pandemic, so I was mostly home as well. My advice would be know how much work you can take on, and don't push yourself to do it all. Because I remember after I graduated, I was so intent on attending every speaker event, every portfolio review, doing everything I possibly could to get my work out there. And that part really burnt me out. It wasn't even the drawing or the job. It was the constant marketing of myself. That was really hard at the end. So yeah, definitely don't make your life and working in animation. You need, like Peggy said, hobbies, travel.
Yeah, like
do other things.
Like I remember, like some of my alumni from my school, they were saying like, you need to find another hobby, and I didn't get it. I was like, why? Drawing is my favorite thing to do. But then after I graduated and started working, I thought, now I get it. Like take some time to work out, to take a walk, spend time with family. And and I think the other thing that helps me a lot when I work on portfolios, like I just find like a sketchbook and I do like tiny squares, like plan out what I want for each pages. and then just like make a list so your mind is not in a clutter. You can do like, okay, for this week I need to finish this page. Like give yourself a little deadline. So, and also I think the other thing helped me a lot is also I had a group of friends where we always meet up every once in a while, to critique each other's work, and then we encourage each others to, draw more, and then we also have like study session together. So I think that helps a lot, to find a group of people, like supportive people to work together.
Yeah, and then it's also helpful for me to kind of figure out what keeps you motivated.
Exactly.
Like for me, I can draw for like 8+ hours if I have like a little drink at my desk and I'm listening to an audiobook. Like I just zone out and I can just draw for hours and hours if I make my environment comfortable.
Yeah, I love audiobooks. May I ask what audiobooks you listen to?
Yeah, I'm currently burning through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. So I finished the Stormlight Archives, and I'm on the last book of Mistborn, so The Lost Metal.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, The Way of Kings is so good. Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and they're long too. They're like 60 hours each, so plenty of content.
Yes, there we go. Nice.
Hey, thank you for answering that. Yeah, I remember. I know for me, when I got hired, I was like, everyone told me like, yeah, you're gonna learn really quickly that you need another hobby or something else to do because your bandwidth. And I was like, what's bandwidth? They're like, yeah, it's like you need to watch like how much you spend time on things because you'll get burnt out so fast and because you're so starry eyed. And I was like, that's not gonna happen. And
Yeah.
oh my lord, is that true? Connor asks, is an internship absolutely necessary for entering the industry, either in general or for background specifically?
No. I'm going to say no because, one, I personally didn't do an internship in animation. I actually did my internship with a literary journal because in college I majored in illustration. And while I didn't know what I was going to do with illustration, I was like, I'm getting college credit to draw, so that's good enough for me. Which literary journal? It's one called Lucky Jefferson. They're based on the East Coast, as most publishing things are. They focus on poetry and short works from BIPOC. And also, I think that this is more common knowledge now, but internships in animation are much more competitive than jobs. So if you don't get one, don't feel bad about it. Many artists don't do an internship before starting their career.
Yeah, I actually feel sometimes it's like harder to get an internship than a job, and then I personally have never worked on an internship, so I think I guess it will help. But if you don't get one, it's not the end of the world. Okay, things will work out.
Thanks for the words of encouragement. Sorry, I'm just going to the chat to make sure we didn't
Me too.
any questions. I know Kara had a question, or Kara, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But they asked, speaking of working out, is there a warm-up, wind-down routine or workout routine that you do to keep your drawing arm healthy?
Wait, so keep the arm healthy or the hand healthy?
Do you like work out your arm or like before you draw?
I know a lot of people do this. I see kind of can you guys see? Yeah.
I think for me, my problem was like back pain, just because of that posture and also body stiffness from sitting at my desk for so long. So what works for me currently is like working out regularly, doing like simple Pilates, squats, stretches.
Stretch.
Yeah, you have to keep your body healthy to draw. So.
And the other thing, one of my teachers, he told me was like, as you age, like watch out what you eat. Like right now, I'm at an age where I realize I cannot consume too much, like carb, because it makes me depressed. It makes me feel heavy, and then I wouldn't want to draw. So like watch out what you eat. I think that helps a lot too. Vegetable, fruit. And I also realized I cannot drink boba anymore, which is pretty sad because I love boba, but it also makes me depressed. So I know. So yeah, so watch out what you eat. Stretch. And sometimes all you need is just like take a walk outside and then consume the sunlight. That helps a lot too. Yeah.
Also, play around with your drawing tablet settings, because some brushes are so much easier to use on like a different hardness or softness setting.
That's a good one.
For me, I'm very heavy-handed, and I'm like gouging into my Cintiq.
Me too. I feel like
Yeah, so like if I have a very textured brush, I'll often just turn it to the most soft it is. So I'm saving myself from wrist strain.
Oh, and then the other thing I just noticed right now, because I didn't have this for so long. So this is my wall counter, and I have this like fabric that I'm wrapping around. Because like how like when the pencil is so thin, sometimes you hold it really tight, and it actually hurts your hand in a long run. So I just pull this on a little bit, so it kind of helps me. It works so far, because last year I had a really bad I don't know what they call, but my finger just feels numb a lot. So this helped me a lot. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. I think there's I need to find that photo. It's like one of the like a coworker of mine was like, you should keep this at your desk, and it was like every like hand workout to man, and he's like, you just leave it and tape it at your desk, so every time you take a break you can look at it. I can totally post that in the general chat. Yeah.
To do like wrist curls and wrist extension, you get a dumbbell and go like this and like this, but like have your arm flat on a surface. It really helps. You'll probably be the next day if you've never done it before. I had like elbow tendonitis, which is like this part was really sore from drawing, and those really helped.
I think a life hack everyone should try is to have some foster kittens, because you have to get up in 3 hours.
But they're fosters. You're gonna have to say goodbye to them, and that'll make you sad.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god, a cat!
Hello.
Is my cat? Her name is Hippo. Sorry, she just
No, don't be sorry.
Throughout the whole night, so I'm waiting for her right now. Okay, but I'm gonna move on to the next question. We have a lot of questions. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, we want to be mindful of your guys' time. If you want to go a little longer, or you just so we can have like figure out like how much you know your bandwidth, like you said before. So yeah, would you guys want to go a little longer, or would you want to like wrap it up soon?
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
I have time too. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna jump around to some more questions I think would be more worthwhile, like right now. Let's see. What are some things in like your area that you work in, your job role, that you wish you knew before you began working?
Ooh. Something that I wish I knew was how to network, because in school, everyone was saying, oh, you have to network, but no one really taught you how. So what ended up happening was I would be connected to a friend of a friend, and I would be like, hey, can you recommend me for a job? And they were like, I don't know who you are, which is not how you network. So yeah, definitely be respectful of people who are already working in the industry, and only ask for portfolio reviews if they're willing and able, and try to form a connection for sure before bringing up jobs, because I know we're all desperate, but not that desperate, I hope. And another thing is, it often will not feel enough to get your foot in the door. You'll want to shove your whole body in there, and that can take time. I am about 2 years into my career, and only now do I really feel like I've like made it. The previous 2 years have been just like a lot of, will I get a next job? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it was like when I when I was in school, I thought I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna get an internship, and then after I graduate, I'm gonna get a full-time job. But it actually didn't go as smooth as I thought it would be. So I really beat myself up. But just know, like, a lot of time, these things takes time and takes luck as well. And you have to be patient with yourself, and then also be honest with yourself. Yeah, and then the thing I wish I've done more before I start working is like I should take those classes while I was still in school, like, because as I said before, I feel my portfolio wasn't as good. Yeah, so I just wish I'd take advantage of those like speakers event, or like workshops online, while I was still in school, and then they would help me a lot to, both networking and improving my art. Yeah, I think those two. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah, the next question is from Amira. How exactly did you go about networking successfully?
That's a good one. I think for me, I kind of network through taking classes, or like join events like Warrior Painters, or like what we have right now, and like this type of speaker events. It's good to like talk to them, talk to people, and be polite, be nice. Or also, I think Lightbox is a good way to connect as well. And but yeah, what helped me the most is like taking classes and talking to teachers who's already working in the industry, because so they know me, and then I know them, and then they know my work ethic and stuff like that. I think those really help me to network too. But yeah, and sometimes you don't also need to just networking with teacher. It can be also your classmate, your peers. Yeah, like I think the first two job I got, like the video production job and then like the Georgia job I got both from my friends. Like who knew I would get jobs from my friends. So maybe both teachers and classmates. Yeah, anybody around you. And be nice, be sincere. Ask good questions. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. That I think a good way to network is just to stay active in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So participating in events like this, doing mentorships with women in animation. Discord groups are a very good one. Once you do get a job in the industry, staying connected with your coworkers, work hard and do a good job so people higher up notice you.
Yeah, that's great because like sometimes you never know where you're gonna find and networking. As long as you're also really nice and genuine, people can smell. People can smell when you just want them for just like a specific thing. I mean, a coworker of mine said like she's like, yeah, I was working at Pat and Oscars, and like this dude I was waiting for, he hired me to work at DreamWorks.
Oh, it's awesome.
And she's just like, wow, if I didn't give him breadsticks and was nice about it, then who knows? And I'm like, wow, yeah, never know. Hang on. Would we want to do a couple more questions, Yue and Peggy? So
I'm down. Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any more in the chat? Oh, I guess. Well, I can ask someone personally for me. So as someone who lives by like words of affirmation and like needs to know like certain things to keep myself going, is there like maybe a common phrase or like maybe something that you read or saw in a movie that you're just like this sticks with me, this helps me out, like personally?
There's a like, can it be anything like a book or movie?
Yeah, like
anything, right?
Yeah, anything like I like Winnie the Pooh quotes, even though like they're super simplistic. They actually do like have a lot of meaning behind them, which I appreciate.
I love some of the cheesy quotes. They actually, like there's like a lot saying like, oh, the door closed but the window open, something like that. Like those are cheesy, but it actually helped me a lot. Yeah, and then for me, I think a movie helped me go through a hard time was it's like a Netflix movie called like Tick Tick Boom. With Andrew Garfield. Oh my god, it hits really hard, because like if you watch a movie, like the main character actually passed away in real life, and then it's like it's really sad, but it just makes me. It helped me to learn to precious like all the moments we've got, because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So yeah. Anyway, I'm still thinking.
That's a very good question. What's something that stuck with me? Like, not a specific quote, but something that I think about is that, since I read a lot, my job is just a job, at least I'm not a teenager in a YA novel who has to save the world, it's not that serious. And I think kind of taking a step back and seeing the whole picture and be like, I literally make cartoons for a living, it's not that serious. It's very helpful.
Exactly, yeah. There's a quote I want to share, but it's in Chinese, so I need to translate it. And so I was hoping I can share it with you guys later on, but I was wondering, is there a place I can post?
Yeah, you can put it in the general chat. And then
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah, it's from Murakami, but I wrote it all in Chinese, so I don't know how to say this in English right now. I will translate it later, but I'll share with you guys. Yeah.
We appreciate it very much.
No problem.
Did we have another question? I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone else's questions.
We're checking.
I think we're caught up.
Yeah. I do have some more questions if you want to run through that, just to fill out some of the time. We're gonna end in maybe 10-ish minutes.
Like 10-ish minutes, and then we'll take a group photo.
So this is just a question. This is more art technique, draftsmanship. Do you have any advice for people who hate drawing and painting things like vehicles or cityscapes, things like that? Things that are typically considered hard on the job?
Sorry, I'm just thinking.
I would say maybe use a 3D model. I think that's really helpful. Or if you have a reference picture that you took yourself, just trace it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're just learning, it's okay to trace.
Yeah. And I think for work, use 3D modeler, and then maybe there's a website I do want to share. I think it's called Sketchfab, where you can find a lot of models, and it helps me a lot when I'm just drawing, because for example, you want to find a car, you just type car in there, and then they will find a bunch of, there'll be a bunch of car model. Of course, you show them copied 100%, but it can help you with perspective and all the stuff. And as for personal work, I think practice will help you, eventually, because when you practice more, you're gonna feel like you accomplished something. But yeah, you don't need to do I need to design this amazing ship or whatever. Do it step by step. Set mini goal every day, but to help you to achieve what you want to do in the end. And the other thing I think that helps me a lot is I also hate drawing vehicles, but I love drawing food. So I'll be okay, I'm gonna design a food truck, so I can I can find a chance to draw food. So combine something you hate with something you love. So use it as a way to connect with these vehicles or whatever. Add something you love in it, so you can still enjoy a little bit of it when you're drawing it. Yeah, I think that will help.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. I like playing with shapes. So something I did when I was drawing vehicles for school was just to really exaggerate the shapes. So it would become something that I enjoy drawing. But if you truly don't like drawing vehicles, just don't put them in your portfolio.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's important. If you don't want to do certain things for job, maybe don't put it in there unless you feel you want to push yourself to step out of your comfort zone, stuff like that. Yeah.
If you hate doing something, do it with something you love. That's so smart. Jeremiah, do you have any other questions that you want to ask? Or I can go off the sheet that I the questions that I had for.
I don't have anything personally in mind anymore. I think but yeah, we can go like the last two, and then we should wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the other questions I had was, what was your favorite personal project that you've done so far, and why?
Yue, do you want to go first?
My favorite personal project.
It's like picking a favorite child.
Right.
Yeah. I guess this is more of just like a single illustration than a project, but I really like painting forests and playing with color. I think that's really common. Everyone has at least one forest piece in their portfolios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, forests are fun to paint. Yeah, those are therapeutic too. I think for me, it was this project I did last year for a brainstorm class. I called it Kung Fu. So think of this project as Sailor Moon crossover, the Karate Kids crossover cyberpunk. Yeah, so I think it's like my favorite project so far because I found myself keep going back to the project to draw more stuff. Yeah, and then this is also the first time I design characters that looks and feels like me, so it's like a connection. Yeah, so I think it's my favorite project so far. Yeah.
This is an art adjacent project, but I was able to table at Lightbox last year with my Women in Animation group, and we did like a lot of branding, like social media marketing. We made an art book, formatted it, sent it to printer, and I think that was a really fun project to me just because, so actually I have a graphic design background. I worked as a graphic designer 2 years during college before jumping into animation. So while it's definitely not something I could do as a career, it was really fun to kind of go back to my roots and play around with like branding and packaging and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
It was also just a fun learning experience. Like that was my first artist alley, and I definitely want to do more.
Are you planning to do it this year?
Yes, I want to.
Oh, yeah. Do it. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, I remember I was trying to look for you, Yue. I was like, but Artist Alley gets bigger every single time, and I can't find any of people.
Yeah, it's really hard to like.
Yeah, they also got our name wrong last year. We applied, so our like everything that we did, like all the branding said like Cersei, which was the first. So Vicky has had three different mentorship circles throughout the years, and the circle before me also tabled at Lightbox the year before when they did it all virtually. So we were just kind of joining in on them. But on the Lightbox website, they listed us as Circle.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's the vibe killer. Cersei.
Yeah. Maybe they just thought we like misspelled it.
It happens.
Yeah. But it's okay. We had fun, and it was mostly a learning experience for me. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Can I?
Question specifically for UA. You mentioned liking Avatar. Did you guys know that apparently the Avatar Last Airbender movie in 2025 is going to be in the animation style of Spider-Verse and Flying Bark Animation Studio?
I didn't know that it was going to be like Spider-Verse, but I did know that Flying Bark was producing it because I talked up that recruiter at Lightbox. I was like, hey, my name is Yue. I gotta represent.
Yes. That would be dope.
I see you, Yue.
I know. You know what's funny though? In my mentorship circle, there's someone else named Tenzin. Like, what are the chances, right?
Girl, it was like the stars aligned for you guys to do that. Okay, I have one last question. The last one for the event, and then we'll do like a closing statement. But what do you enjoy the most about your job, or like just being an artist in general?
I think I just love designing and painting. No, just like talking to like it's a job. I know like it's a job at the end of the day, but like I really appreciate like the people I work with, and they make this whole process a lot more fun, and I learn a lot from them as well. So I think that's the part I enjoy the most. It's like the interaction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoy the community aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very small, and the chances are like everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also just I think that the animation industry is very positive. Like when you see cool shows coming out, everyone's like, "Hell yeah!" Like my friend worked on that. Like I'm so excited to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I think it's also. I mean, it's for me, but I think I also find it really cool to see like everybody's like styles at work, but also see their like personal art. It's like how different it is, and I thought it was really cool. Just to meet different artists. Two jobs. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love stalking.
Me too.
Like artists and seeing their like weird personal stuff.
Like, ooh.
That's
Me digging around to see if character designers had like a furry like pipeline.
so many artists have like an NSFW Patreon. And I'm like,
oh, I think Josh has a question. Do you guys have a warm up routine before working? Do I have one? Do you have one, Yue? Because I don't think I do.
I do. I'm actually a stickler for my morning routine, which has really helped me stay focused and motivated. Which is, well, I guess I'll just like start from the beginning of my day.
Please, yeah.
So I get up. So because one thing about me is that if I do anything, I have to put my 110% into it. So since I'm working out, I feel like I also have to eat right for my game to make sense. So the first thing I do in the morning is take a ginger shot for gut.
Oh.
And then I feed my foster kittens, scoop their litter, take care of them, and that takes 30 minutes for whatever reason because they're very distracting. And then I journal. I've been journaling every morning for the past 6 years. So that really helps me like focus and also remember things. Like, you guys ever hear how like if you write things down, you're more likely to remember it? Mm-hmm. It's like it really helps me just like write things down. And then I'll do like my breakfast, getting ready, and then going to work.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I also like to journal, but I'm doing the opposite. I journal before I go to bed. Just more like a gratitude. It's like, okay, I need to be thankful today. Yeah. I think for me, I start with something similar, but like I drink like a cup of lukewarm water because I don't know, my family has this weird saying like, oh, this is more healthy to drink like warm water, like lukewarm water in the morning. I don't know why, but I've been doing this since I was a kid. Yeah, so I do that, do my skincare, get my coffee, and then get to work. Yeah. But sometimes I like wake up super early in the morning and just start to work right away. But of course I brush my teeth and stuff like that. But yeah, because sometimes I like working in the morning. It's just like really quiet and nobody bothers me. I like that too. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I guess that's my morning routine.
Yeah, Alice, the ginger shot also usually has black or cayenne pepper in it to activate it. So it's really spicy.
Do you make your own ginger shot, or like you just bought it from like?
I'm currently buying them from the grocery store, but I think if I can keep up the habit until the end of the month, I'll invest in a good blender and just make them myself.
Nice.
Because I'm also a big meal prep person, so I think it makes more sense for me to just meal prep like 2 weeks of ginger shots.
Yeah, exactly. Save more time too. And I think Stephanie raised her hand. What do you have any questions?
Do you have taste buds?
I was just gonna ask for the ginger shot recipe, but you said you got it from the store though?
Yeah, I like the ones by Suja. Those have turmeric in them too.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Google.
Yay, cooking channel.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're insane because I hate ginger. Like if I even like a bit of ginger in my veggies, I like spit it out. I'm like, no, no.
It's so spicy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. When I first started taking them, I was like, my stomach is rumbling, and it would rumble because you're also not supposed to eat for like 30 minutes after you take it, so your gut has a chance to digest it before.
That's the rule?
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't know that.
But you get used to it. I think now that I'm used to taking them, it's a good way to start my morning. Like something spicy, like wake up, gain sentience.
Oh.
That's oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay. But
all the insight. But I think we're going to wrap up this event.
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
Yeah. As much as I love the ginger shot talk, we're gonna go into a rabbit hole of that, and it's gonna be like when it's like 3 a.m. on YouTube, and then you end up in like a different area. So, we just wanted to say thank you to Yue and Peggy. Before we all leave, if you don't have to, if you don't want to, you can. We're all gonna take a group photo, so just awkwardly smile for maybe like a couple of seconds while I get the screenshot ready. But yeah, so I'll start in 3, 2, 1. Yay!
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Peggy, and your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for everyone for coming in. I'll make sure to put their social medias as well as where you can follow them too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for the amazing questions. And thank you, Yue. I learned a lot today. The ginger shot, yes.
If I get hurt from that ginger shot, I'm blaming you.
Yeah.
And okay, so what said lukewarm water? It's a Chinese thing. Chinese parents it can only be lukewarm because cold water is bad for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it kind of like shorten your life or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't know it was gonna shorten my life.
Lukewarm and not hot.